Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast, brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVRealtor.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVRealtor.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening on a Tuesday. It's the John and Heidi Show. Hey, gorgeous, how you doing?
Super duper, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. I always look forward to Tuesdays for a couple of reasons. First of all, we get to talk to your dad for
Tuesdays with Charlie.
But also, I am just not a fan of Mondays. So it's always good to be done with that. Hey, an Australian man who was on trial on suspicion of bank robbery, he's been given a retrial because of his name. Believe it or not, the man's name is Rob Banks. That's his real name.
Gosh.
The judge made the decision to try the man under an alias because they said the jury might have been swayed by his real name being Rob Banks.
Maybe he should have chosen a different career path.
Yeah. He is a bank robber with the real name.
Oh my gosh, that
Rob
is hilarious.
Banks. Ironic, yes. That is, it is kind of funny, honestly. All right, coming up, we're going to talk about dads and why they should spend time with their kiddos, and a prank that's pretty disgusting, and much more. Thank you so much for joining us on the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. Get razors for $1 a month, plus a few bucks shipping, so you can enjoy fresh razors every month for as little as $3. Learn more at dollarshaveclub.com/radio.
If you're a father, it's important to spend time with your kids, right?
Of course.
Well, listen to this. This says fathers spend more time with their children who resemble them. At least that was a result of a brand new study. The Serengle study suggests that fathers invest more time and energy in their children who look and smell like them.
And smell like them.
Primal indicators that they are biologically connected. So if your child looks like you and smells like you, apparently you're more
very interesting.
Apt to spend time with them. So for both of my children, if I spend a lot of time with you, I'm sorry if that means you smell like me. I'm so sorry. Sorry for you. Now, that's kind of an interesting study. So it is important to spend time with your kids, even if they don't look like you and smell like you. Spend time with your kids. It's a good thing to do.
I spend time with both of the kids, and I don't think either one of them smells like me. I don't know.
I
guess I've never really sniffed them to see, but
I'm going to have to do that later today.
That is so weird.
Hey, you smell just like your mother. All right, got a prank that's kind of disgusting. We're going to chat about that on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVRealtor.com. If you want to buy or sell an RV, go to RVRealtor.com. List your RV for free. Learn more at RVRealtor.com.
When you were in school, did you get along with your teachers?
Most of them. I had a few that I really did not.
You don't come across to me as the kind of person that would have ever been like a teacher's pet, though. Like, the teacher.
I certainly wasn't.
You weren't too chummy with the teachers. I'm sure of it, because you're just you're not good with authority figures. I've noticed.
What does that mean?
I don't know. You just read between the lines all you want. But a Wisconsin high school student has been sentenced to probation for baking hair in a cake and serving it to the teachers.
Oh.
His real name is John Smith. It sounds like an alias, but that's his real name. He shaved his body hair.
Ew. I wonder which body hair.
Baked it into a cake and brought it to school. But when he couldn't serve it in class, he brought it to the teacher's lounge. After half of the cake was eaten, officials discovered there's hair in this cake.
Oh.
Yeah. So he was trying to feed it to the class. Teacher said, sorry, can't do that. New policy. I don't know, just in case somebody shaves all their body hair and puts it in a cake.
That is so disgusting.
Oh. I
wonder which hair.
I don't know. It says his body hair.
If I had to guess.
You got a region that you're thinking?
Yeah.
Somewhere near the equator is what you're guessing? Yeah.
That's what I'm guessing.
So this young man shaved off his body hair from somewhere, put it into cake mix, baked it, tried to feed it to his class. That didn't work out. So the teachers, and again it says, after the cake was half eaten. So that means that half of this cake was gone. I wonder, once they discovered it, if anybody finished eating the piece they were working on.
Probably the gym teacher.
Charlie.
He's like,
Charlie, there's hair in this cake. He's like, yeah, whatever. I'm still hungry. You get some coffee? No, I'm getting a little thirsty. All right. You know that's true because you heard it on the radio. Coming up, we got your brain on drugs, your moment of duh, your scoop of the day, Tuesdays with Charlie, and so much more. It's a Tuesday edition of the John and Heidi Show.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain. And this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again?
844-204-1055.
This is your brain on drugs. When somebody robs you, it is probably best to call the police, right?
Absolutely.
Unless, of course, you were robbed while you were making an illegal drug transaction. But an East Hartford, Connecticut man called the police to let him know that he was robbed while he was buying his crack cocaine.
Oh, my gosh.
Max Meinfeld called the police to tell them he had paid a man and a woman $8 for some drugs, never got them.
$8?
Apparently.
Must
Police,
have been some real high-end stuff.
I don't know. I've never bought drugs, but that doesn't sound like the right amount. Police charged him with criminal attempt and committed possession of narcotics. During his arraignment, Judge Bradford Ward asked Manfield, "Did you really think the police were going to go after these people?" He added,
Well, they should have gone after them.
He added, "That was a rhetorical question." So apparently the guy said, "Yeah, I kind of thought you would."
Well, they should go after them. They were committing
Yes.
crimes as well. But
he's going,
they should also arrest that gentleman.
And they did.
Yeah.
Because his brain was definitely on drugs. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Keystone Treatment Center. Addiction is no laughing matter. Call Keystone Treatment Center toll-free at 1-844-204-1055.
Now your moment of duh. Even criminals sometime get their day in court and win. Listen to this. It's going to make Heidi happy. Carl Truman, age 19, of Los Angeles, California, won $74,000 plus medical expenses when his neighbor ran over his hand with a Honda Accord.
Ooh.
Truman apparently didn't notice that there was somebody at the wheel of the car when he was trying to steal the neighbor's hubcaps.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, so he was stealing the hubcaps. The neighbor,
He was stealing the hubcaps. The neighbor was driving away, and
backed over
the
his hand.
criminal got
$74,000
oh my gosh.
plus medical expenses. So
that is so incredibly messed up.
it is. That happened in Los Angeles, California. So there you go.
Well, why does that not surprise me?
Anybody that wants to, make some fast money, you just go to California, steal hubcaps off of, I do it off like a city vehicle for me because they got all kinds of money.
I cannot
make sure you get your hand run over.
believe that.
Don't really do that. I was being facetious. Is that the right word? So I don't know if I even said that right. Anyway, I knew that was going to make Heidi's morning. We've got your scoop of the day on the way. Thanks for joining us on a Tuesday.
The Scoop of the Day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now, your scoop of the day. When a man in Santa Fe, New Mexico was pulled over for a DWI, his wife drove to the scene to try to smooth things over. Guess what happened, though? She was also drunk.
Oh.
So she was taken to jail with her husband. Yeah.
Oh, my
Not
gosh.
a good plan. Recent study shows yawning boosts brain power. Well, if that's the case, I think the two of us ought to be geniuses. You're yawning right now.
No,
Would you
just
stop
saying
it?
yawning made me yawn. That's pretty sad.
You just boosted your brain power a little bit.
Well, good.
7% of all potatoes grown in the United States are turned into what, Heidi? 7%.
French fries.
Yes, not just French fries, but whose?
McDonald's fries.
Yes. 7% of all U.S. potatoes eventually become McDonald's French fries. Lester Holt, who's been filling in for the suspended Brian Williams on NBC Nightly News, reportedly wants the same $10 million per year salary as Williams.
Oh, good Lord.
Williams is not returning to the anchor chair, so he's saying, I'd like to get the same amount of money.
No,
because
you have to first build up your audience. And
but he said, I was also shot down in a... no. All right. Workplace deaths in the United States have dropped by nearly half over the past 2 decades. That is awesome news.
That's very good news.
That's the entire story, so I don't know what to attribute that to exactly, but whatever we're doing, keep doing it. All right. One of the most powerful images in history is that of Martin Luther nailing his criticisms to the medieval church, 95 Theses, to a church door, thus beginning the Protestant Reformation. But there is considerable doubt as to whether he actually ever published his critique so dramatically. Many scholars believe now that he just handed it out, that he never actually nailed it to the door like that.
It's just a myth.
Yeah, they're saying that
urban legend.
that because it wasn't a photograph. They didn't take photos back then, but they're saying they don't think that ever really happened now. So there you go.
They took photos back then.
No, Martin Luther? No. When the Lutheran Church started, this is hundreds of years ago.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Martin Luther King.
No.
It's like, there's photos of him.
Welcome to the program,
Oh,
Heidi.
sorry. I wasn't really listening, clearly.
I kind of noticed that.
Apparently my yawn didn't boost my brain power quite enough.
Oh, are you happy in your job, Heidi?
Yes.
Good timing to ask that. Well, if you're not, you might maybe consider attending church. It says here that people who go to church regularly are happier in their jobs. So there you go. 1,022 full-time workers. They found those who attend church regularly have higher job satisfaction and they're more committed to their place of employment. A study in Britain found that the average teenage boy is paranoid about his looks. Guess how much time he spends before getting ready to go out? A Britain boy, teenage Britain boy, British boy.
Clue.
65 minutes.
Whatever.
Now, I'm about the same. You take off 1 hour, and I'm exactly the same. I spend 5 minutes getting ready. That includes the shower
I don't
and everything.
even spend 65 minutes getting ready, and I'm a woman.
There you go. A woman from India found herself in need of medical prescription, but no money to buy it. So she had her boyfriend, she and her boyfriend, decided to rob a grocery store next to the pharmacy. The two then proceeded to go right next door to the pharmacy. And she gave her real name and her real address and her real phone number. So it was not hard for them to figure out exactly who to
I either
arrest.
read about this or we talked about this.
I think we did talk about it, but we have more of the info there now. And police they were in hot pursuit. Armed Scottish robber Derek McFadden was racing away from a bank near Glasgow with $4,000. Then he made a law-abiding mistake. He stopped for a red light. He was arrested immediately. We talked about that, too. What is the deal with this? Do you remember that? Because we talked about a bank robber that got arrested. Apparently, I'm just regurgitating all the same stuff that I've talked about
Welcome to
in
the
the past.
program, John.
Hey, thank you. Thank you. I think we should divert our attention to this now. Our strange law from Texas. Texas law requires that a criminal give the expected victim a 24-hour notice before committing a crime, either orally or in writing. So you have to give a 24-hour notice before you can commit a crime in Texas. If you do that, then apparently the crime is null and void. I'm not sure how that works. All right. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We've got Tuesdays with Charlie on the way in a bit.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RoughToughKennels.com. Dog kennels and accessories sent to your front door wherever you live. Your dog deserves it. Learn more at RoughToughKennels.com.
And right now, it's time for my favorite thing that we do all week long. We pick up the phone and we call my father-in-law for a little program we like to call
Tuesdays with Charlie.
Are we going to learn about some awesome stuff today, Charlie?
Just like every other Tuesday.
Of course. We always learn good stuff. So what do we have today, Charlie?
Hey, did you know in 2011, a pair of managers from Domino's set fire to Papa John's to boost their sales?
That's kind of funny.
Hey, if you can outsell them, take them out of the competition.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
See how much peachy you sell with a burned-up place. That's not good.
Then, hey, you remember the Pet Rock?
Oh, yeah.
You know, that was back in the 70s.
Yes.
And you know the guy that invented that became a multi-millionaire in 6 months after marketing it.
No kidding. We need to think of something like that, Charlie. We got to come up with the Pet Charlie.
We got to come up with something because if it only takes 6 months.
There you go.
Hey, Philip Morris, you know that make
cigarettes.
Cigarettes, yeah. They ran an ad acknowledging smokers' cough in 1943. They claimed it was caused by smoking brands other than Philip Morris.
Oh my
gosh.
No
kidding.
You wouldn't get away with that today.
No, you would not at all.
That's pretty sharp of them, though. Hey, then you know the shopping cart.
Yes.
The guy that invented that had to pay people to push him around for about 2 years before people would use them.
I knew that. They hired people to hang out at grocery stores and push around a shopping cart because up until that point, nobody had ever seen these things before. And they're like, I don't need that. I've never used it before. Why do I need it? So
they thought it made them look lazy, so they didn't want to use them.
Nowadays, people are driving rascal scooters around.
Drag racing in the aisles and everything.
You didn't have to pay anybody to do those. You're like, I can sit on my tush and drive around. I'll take it.
2 patients taking an antidepressant, chlorphomine, or however you pronounce it.
I'm sure you nailed it.
They all have side effects, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, this one was every time they yawned, they had an orgasm.
Oh.
I want to get some of that.
I bet that stuff flew off the shelves.
Hey, then I got one last thing here for you before we get any questions, if you got any.
Oh, yeah. What is your last thing?
And I told you this before, but King Tut,
Yeah.
he was mummified with an erection.
I did not know. I don't think you have shared that with us before. I probably would have remembered that one.
Well, now you know.
Huh. I wonder
King Tut,
how
he was
they
just a little
managed
dude.
that.
Never heard that before.
I want to see it.
You want to see
Why wouldn't you? He's just a short little dude, and then he's laying there with a just a little thing there.
Charlie,
How'd you like to be the person that had to wrap that part of the mummy?
Give me a Band-Aid here.
all righty then. I almost feel bad saying I think it's time to move on. So, you ready for a question here, Charlie?
I'm ready.
Our question is this. Who was the first teenager to be given their own television show?
Their own television, like a spin-off, you mean?
Yeah, like a TV show where they had their own show. It was named for this person.
Leave it to Beaver?
No.
No, it'd just be his show, right?
Yeah, and this is a girl, I'll tell you that.
Patty Duke.
I'm asking Charlie.
Oh, sorry.
Well, she's taking all my answers.
That's what you were going to say anyway, isn't it, Dad?
That was close.
Why don't you go in the other room?
Her sister, Sarah Duke, I don't know.
Sarah Duke. No, it was Patty Duke, but thank you for ruining that, Heidi.
Sorry.
All right, well then I'll ask you this.
Okay.
Which cowboy star had his horse, when it died, Trigger, mounted and taxidermied?
Well, that's Roy Rogers.
You got it right, Roy Rogers. Good job, Charlie.
You give it away when you said Trigger.
Well, there you go. See, I figured that I would get some questions for you that might actually be things from, back when you were growing up and, in your wheelhouse there.
Okay, I'm 1 for 75 then.
Yes, you did. You did well. Well, thank you so much. We'll talk to you again next week. Hey, if you've got a question for Charlie, you can email it to us. Send it to charlie@johnandheidishow.com, and that's all spelled out. There's not the little and sign. It's johnandheidishow.com. Just send that email over. We'll ask it next week.
And we'll try to get 2 out of 76.
That would be awesome. All right, we'll talk to you next week, Charlie.
Bye,
Okay,
Daddy.
bye, John. Bye, Plop.
Bye-bye, Charlie. And again, my father-in-law right there. We talk to him every Tuesday just because we can with a little program we like to call Tuesdays with Charlie.
This portion of the program is brought to you by carsforsale.com. If you're in the market to buy a car, truck, or van, find thousands of vehicles to choose from at carsforsale.com.
Today is a very special day, Heidi. You know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. Today is Tuesday, the 14th day of July, and it's Be a Dork Day. Now, I celebrate this every day, so I don't exactly know how to celebrate other than just be myself. It's also Gummy Worm Day. I love gummy worms.
I don't.
I do. I think they're really good.
You know what I do like those Sour Patch Kids.
Oh, those are good, too.
I like the texture of those better than gummy worms. They're not so
slimy.
Ugh. Yeah.
Because they got the little coating on them. It's also National Pet Fire Safety Week. What? National Pet Fire Safety Week. What does that mean?
Well, I suppose making sure you get your pets out safely,
Okay.
too, in the
that
event
makes
of
sense,
a fire.
I guess. St. Swithin's Day.
I don't know what that is.
And Take Your Poet to Work Week.
And everybody has a poet.
I'm going to take my poet to work this week. I don't know what that means exactly. I think it means you're supposed to be poetic. Whatever it is, get out there and celebrate today because it is a special day. It is Tuesday, the 14th day of July.
This portion of the program is brought to you by StoneGroupArchitects.com. It's more than a building. It's design and function working together. Check out the project portfolio at StoneGroupArchitects.com.
2015. It's been quite a year, hasn't it, Heidi?
Oh, yes.
And it's only half over, but it's already shaping up to be the year of the unisex baby name. This is according to Time and BabyCenter.com. They've noticed this emerging trend in their mid-year report. Gender names like Noah and Emma are still super common, but gender-neutral names like Amari, Carter, Phoenix, Quinn, and Reese are rising in popularity this year.
I wouldn't think any of those are really general neutral, would you?
I know a man named Reese, and I know an actress, Reese Witherspoon, so that apparently is, but I only know men named Quinn. I've never met a female Quinn. Phoenix, I've met male Phoenixes and male Carters, but I suppose they could go both ways on those. So celebrities, though, are contributing to this gender-neutral trend by giving their girls names that are traditionally male monikers like Lincoln and James and Mason. There are celebrities that have females with the names Lincoln. And that's I could see that. Lincoln would work for a female. I have a nephew named Lincoln.
I could not see that.
I could
for
see
a
that.
Girl.
James, though, I've never met a female named James. And Mason, I have a nephew named Mason.
I can't see that either.
So they have female celebrity has a daughter named Mason.
We have a daughter named Taylor, which goes both ways.
Yeah. The name, not our daughter. So,
No.
so I want to make sure you clarify that, just in case she's listening. Mom? What? What?
No, the name goes.
I have a
name
sister.
could be either way.
I have a sister named Jamie, and I have a sister named Jody, and I've met boys named Jamie and
Oh,
Jody.
yeah.
My name is John. I've never met a woman named John.
No.
Just want to point that out. And your name is Heidi. And
Never
I've met
met a
couple
guy
other,
named Heidi.
I've met a couple of other ladies named Heidi. One of them that kind of passed for a guy, so I guess we got that going. All right. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. It is a Tuesday.
This portion of the program is brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
Awesome story right here. A man finds thousands of dollars worth of silver and gold coins, but he almost throws it away thinking it's worthless. Can you imagine?
Ooh.
A builder who unearthed a tankard stuffed with gold coins and silver coins thought that they were old washers. Trevor Fishley came across a 17th century treasure worth about 30,000 pounds. So this must be in England.
Oh, boy.
He was working at a house in Abbotsham, Devon. The 64-year-old handed them over to customers Teresa and Bob Prouse, who were going to share the reward with him.
Oh, that's nice.
So he's like, I'm building the house for you. We found this, but since I dug it up on your property, it's probably yours. And they're going, well, yeah, didn't even have to tell us. So we're going to share with you, which is really nice. And that's the right thing to do. So what is the most money you've ever found? Have you ever found money? Whoa, look at that.
I think I found a $5 bill once.
I found a whole wad of cash one time at a concert. Remember this?
I do remember
And
this.
I gave it to the people at the Lost and Found, and the guy thought I was crazy.
Yeah.
But there was a lady's ID.
There was a
with it
driver's
and
license
everything.
with
driver's
it.
license.
Otherwise, there wouldn't have been any point in turning it in.
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
So anyway, I thought that was pretty cool. But it wasn't 30,000 pounds. I'm sure of that. All right. Coming up, we're going to talk about Alka-Seltzer to the rescue. That is on the way on the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by GunUp.com. If you're a gun lover, you'll be in heaven at GunUp.com. Built by experienced military veterans, shooting sports competitors, and publishing professionals. They have awesome stories and articles that are read by millions of gun enthusiasts. Check it out at GunUp.com.
Plop, plop, fizz, fizz. Isn't that the Alka-Seltzer thing?
Yeah.
So what is that usually for? What do you use it for? It's like if you have a tummy
Upset
that doesn't feel
stomach.
good. So I have a list of things you can use it for in addition
And
to
hangovers.
that. Really? Is that what?
I think so.
That's
I don't
why
know.
you
I've
have
never...
that case of it in your side. Cleaning toilets. Did you know you can use Alka-Seltzer to clean your
I
toilet?
did not.
Yeah, it says if you have like a little ring around the toilet, you're supposed to drop those in there and plop, plop, fizz, fizz.
Wow.
Oh, how shiny your toilet is. Remove stains from the bottom of a glass or a vase. So like if you have a vase that had water in it and it sat there too long and you got that, drop little Alka-Seltzer, pop, pop.
Here's my
boom,
question.
boom.
If this stuff is removing stains, should you really be putting it in your
Probably
body?
not. I don't know. I'm not an expert on
It's
any
like
of this.
drinking Drano.
You can polish jewelry. You drop some of that into the water, throw jewelry in there. Clean out a thermos. That works really well as well. Or unclog a drain.
This is disturbing.
Clear the sink drain by dropping 3 Alka-Seltzer tablets down, followed by a cup of Heinz white vinegar. Wait for a few minutes and then run the hot water. And then quit using this on your body. Thank you for sending that in. That's interesting. All right. We appreciate you joining us. You're listening to The John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1, plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
You've heard the phrase, you are what you eat, right?
Oh, yes.
Well, how about this phrase? You are what your mama eats.
I could see that,
Yeah, it
though,
says
because
here,
you get your habits from your parents.
According to a new study, a woman may be able to influence the sex of her child that she conceives by what she eats. The study found that women...
way.
Listen to this. The study found that women who ate big breakfasts, particularly cereals, were more likely to have a son, while a diet low in calories, minerals, and nutrients more likely to produce a daughter. The percentage of babies that are girls has risen over the last 4 decades, and this study would seem to explain it, since the number of working moms has also risen, and the number of moms too busy for a good breakfast has also risen. They say this could also offer a natural way for couples to select the gender of their children, just by monitoring how you eat, what you eat. So, you are what you eat. Well, you are what your mama eats.
I'm
going
going to call big old BS on
You don't
that
think this
one.
is accurate?
No.
You don't think there's any truth to it? You think it was all just a coincidence? All these studies, all these people that had girls, they did this, and all these.
It was a coincidence,
and that could be. I'm not saying that it is, but I'm saying that it is very interesting. Don't you think?
Okay.
I'm trying to think right now. So the ladies that had daughters didn't eat well.
So they're saying if you want to have a boy, you should start eating a big breakfast before you try getting pregnant.
Yeah,
because gender is chosen at conception.
You're supposed to have big breakfast.
So it's not like you find out you're pregnant, you see a little stick, and you're like, oh, I better start eating breakfast because I want a boy, because that doesn't make a difference at all.
Well, they say big breakfast with cereals, mainly. So I'm just thinking back to when you were having our daughter and what weird stuff you were eating. And yeah, I'm starting to think this might be accurate.
No. Oh my gosh.
You don't have breakfast. That's why we had a girl.
I never eat breakfast. I didn't when I had Troy either, but he was a boy.
Oh, you probably had a bowl of cereal on the right day. That's what happened. All right. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. It's a Tuesday. We appreciate you joining us.
This portion of the program is brought to you by DirecTV. Call 1-800-259-7646. They have hundreds of channels to choose from, with many packages to fit your viewing desires. Learn more at 1-800-259-7646.
As we approach the end of the program, I found this, and I think this is really cool. The best jobs ever. These are real jobs. Now, I think I have a pretty darn good job. I love what I do, but some of these things sound pretty darn fun. And I don't know how much you get paid to do these things, but there's actually a person who gets paid to be a lotion tester. You get paid to lie on a beach and test suntan lotions.
Oh, I could do
Who would that be? How about an ice cream taster? That's a job. The requirement is a discriminating taste buds and a willingness to sample hundreds of gallons of ice cream all year long. And you probably get brain freezes while you're on the job doing that one. But that'd be kind of a cool thing.
You would get so sick of ice cream, though. Can you imagine?
Yeah. Top enjoyment controller. This is a job as well. You spend your entire workday playing with toys to determine which ones will be a hit for kids.
I would love that job.
Isn't that kind of what Tom Hanks did on the movie?
on Big.
Big?
Yeah.
He did something like that. That was pretty cool. Video game expert. There are people who their job is an expert video game player.
That I wouldn't want to do.
You play the latest computer games and share your knowledge with people who call for help. So you get to be a 12-year-old expert or a 42-year-old expert that lives in your mom's basement or whatever it is. Anyway, then you get paid to do that. That's kind of cool. World travel writer. You explore the world's most exotic
I would
locales.
love.
Then you write about your adventures, Heidi. All expenses are covered for that. So how about this one? This is a job, a real job. Ferrari test driver.
Oh, I could
do that too, if I could fit in a Ferrari. Typical day involves cruising the scenes of the Italian countryside at top speeds in the world's most exotic sports car. How about yachting partners? You go on an all-expense-paid cruise aboard 5-star ocean liners. Your only responsibility is you need to socialize with people who are single. So you're there to make sure that they have fun.
I could do that.
I could do that too. We'd be a blast. Do we have to pretend like we're single to do this? That might not work. And then TV sports viewers.
We could pretend like we're single and we just hook up every cruise.
Well, those two sure hit it off. They act like they've been married almost 2 decades. TV sports viewer. This is a real thing, too. You watch hours of taped sporting events to select the plays that should be included in the news and blooper programs.
Yeah.
There you go. Those are all fun jobs that somebody gets to do out there. But I think the job that we do is pretty darn fun, and I'm glad that we
Absolutely,
get to
I
do it.
love our job.
And sadly, we come to the end of this program. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. I hope you're back here. We will be right here having some fun on the John and Heidi Show.
Time now for the bonus break. Only available here on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
And your bonus break is brought to you by the Dollar Shave Club. Shave some time and shave some money at the Dollar Shave Club. No, you can actually save time because you don't have to go out looking for razors anymore. They bring them to you. As a matter of fact, see, I got my pack right over there. Came in the mail the other day. So you don't have to go out looking for razors. They'll bring them right to you, and you save money. It's only $3 a month. It's $1 a month for the razors, $2 for shipping. Awesome deal. If you haven't signed up yet, you need to do that. Go to dollarshaveclub.com/radio. I'm going to ask you to tell me which one of these you want me to do.
Okay.
With July tending to be the month with the highest energy consumption, we can talk about the states with the most expensive energy and the least expensive energy. Or we can talk about vacationer comments. These are real comments at places where people filled out the comment card. Okay, I thought so too. It's summer. That means summer vacation, and that means road trips. But if you plan to visit one of our nation's beautiful national parks, don't be like these people. The following are actual comments left on Forest Service registration sheets and comment cards by backpackers in wilderness camping trips. So keep in mind, they signed up to go hiking, and then here's what they said.
Okay.
A small deer came into our camp and stole a bag of pickles. Is there a way to get reimbursed for that?
Oh my gosh. A bag of pickles?
That's what I was going to say. What are you doing with a
Pickles
bag of
come
pickles?
in jars.
All right. Next one. This is my favorite of all of them. These trails need to be reconstructed. Please avoid building trails that go uphill. They're out hiking and they're like, can you please
There's way too many hills.
Can you flatten out these trails? Next comment, real comment from the Park Services on one of their comment cards. Too many bugs, leeches, spiders, and spider webs. Please spray the wilderness to rid these areas of pests.
You're in the woods.
All right. Next one. Please pave the trails so they could be plowed of snow in the winter. So somebody was out hiking in the winter and they're like, they should really pave these trails so they can plow them.
First of all, who wants to go hiking in the winter?
I don't know. Chair lifts should be in some places so you can get to wonderful views without having to hike to them. Next comment, real comment from the Park Services. The coyotes make way too much noise at night. They kept me awake. Please eradicate these annoying animals.
Oh my gosh!
It would be really nice to have a McDonald's at the trailhead.
For hikers.
Another one here. Real comment from a hiker. The places where trails do not exist are not very well marked. So they're saying you should mark the entire forest in case I get off the trail. I should know where I'm at all times. Too many rocks in the mountains. And then finally, from the Grand Canyon, we were shocked to find out that there was no elevator going to the bottom of the canyon. This sure would make things easier.
I'm sure it would.
So like all this climbing, all this going up and down, that's a lot of work. You should really make it easier for us.
All this exercise is way too much work.
You guys are crazy.
Somebody should have told me when I was going hiking that I was going to be hiking.
Yeah, I didn't know I was going to have to do all this hiking. All right, this has been your Bonus Break. Thank you so much for joining us. Bonus Break is brought to you by the Dollar Shave Club. Learn more at dollarshaveclub.com/radio.